I don't know. It's a number of things that my clients have said over the years. But by the time they get to me,
When I was younger, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it affected me. But again, the acceptance and realization that it is affecting me. The time frame changed, and the goal is still the same. But when I would be back at that point and ready to pursue that, I don't know.
that is so powerful. So real men get therapy.
Yes.
Because I don't drink. So when he said watermelon rum, I was like, that. Hello, and welcome to Real Deal Men Mondays with Dr. Wynn on the Dr. Wynn Global Show. I am your host, Dr. Stephvanie Wynn, and today's Real Deal Men Monday guest is none other than the fantastic Mr. Anthony Bowdrie. Yay! Many of us know him as Chef Tony. So, would you want us to refer to you as Mr. Bowdrie, Anthony, or Chef Tony? What are we doing today, sir?
Well, Mr. Bowdrie, if you're nasty, but
Oh,
if you hire me, it's Chef Tony.
well, I'll call you Anthony because I'm not nasty and I'm not hiring. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, all right. So, today, as you know, Real Deal Men Monday is a time that we talk to our professional women, but from the perspective of our professional men. So a little bit about Chef Tony, Anthony, Mr. Bowdrie, right here next to us. First of all, this guy is a loving father. He is a good-hearted guy. He's really, really a good guy. He's ambitious. He is a retired military, so thank you for your service. And I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years ago, and he's been on the Real Deal Men's panel before. He's been very popular with our ladies of the Becoming Powerful Now Women's Conference. So now we have Anthony Bowdrie right here with us today on the podcast. Yeah.
We're not going to skip over the fact that the way that we met, though,
We're not going to talk about that. Whoa.
We're going to leave that alone.
We'll talk about that. Listen, when you come to Becoming Powerful Now Women's Conference, you can tell that story. We got a couple of stories to tell you in live and in person, but we're not going to put that on tape.
Hold on, we can't tell them all.
Well, okay, well.
We had one accident. We're not going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, okay. You don't tell that. But the stuff that we can tell. That's a good thing. So, first of all, are you married or single?
I'm single.
Okay. So what's that look?
As you know, I was in a relationship that ended in December and still feeling that, but yeah, so I'm single, unfortunately.
Okay, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
So you like to be in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Tell me about what kind of relationship. Are you looking for, like Netflix and chill kind of thing, or?
I want to be married. My 5-year goal was put on me by my counselors, to figure out my 5-year goals. We're going on a year and a half ago now, and my goal at that time was to be married within the next 5 years.
Okay. Did you change that goal?
That goal changed by my relationship ending.
Well, why does the goal change?
The time frame, not the goal, but obviously coming out of that, and that was the person that I thought was my last, first everything, and that I had intended and wanted to marry. And so still dealing with the residual effects of that. So it's going to take some time to heal and get beyond that before I can even fathom getting into another relationship to get to that point. So that's why I say the time frame changed, and the goal is still the same, but when I would be back at that point and ready to pursue that, I don't know.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to give you big shout outs for recognizing that there's some work to be done at this point, and then mentioning that you have a counselor, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So is that like a therapist? Is that a coach? Is it an actual therapist?
Well, we're not going to step on the fact that I have you. So
Right.
I have several counselors.
Okay.
But yes, I have a male counselor. And as you know, you've been my counsel for years on many things. Because I've been in therapy for years.
Okay, that's phenomenal. A lot of men won't talk about being in therapy, or they feel like there's something wrong with them, or that they're not. I don't know. It's a number of things that my clients I've said over the years, but by the time they get to me, they've gotten so low and have had so many problems, and they've really just finally realized that they're the common denominator in all their relationships breaking up and all of their situations happening and all of these things. So did you start, having therapy after the military, or what happened?
So as an African American male, I grew up with that same stereotype that we don't do counseling.
Mhm.
Actually, when I was a child, my mother had me in it, and I wouldn't say a single word, so it didn't last long. The first time I encountered it was in my marriage, as we were going through things, and so we went through it, attempting to fix our marriage through it. But for me personally, it was after my divorce and the acceptance that, as you said, I was the common denominator in a lot of things in a lot of my prior relationships, and taking accountability of my actions and different things. Because I made excuses, and if I can be frank, I had to stop believing my own BS and realizing that, like I said, I was the common denominator in many circumstances, no matter what type of relationship, whether it was family, whether it was personal, romantic, whatever the case may be. And so I realized, like I said, that I had some things that I needed to address, work on, and fix in order to have a successful relationship of any capacity. And so that's what got me into it a couple of years ago, and realizing that there's things in my youth. But I have a gap in my memory from 3 to 9.
Mm.
That's a problem.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it affected me. But again, the acceptance and realization that it is affecting me, to whatever extent, which is still fully not fully known, but like it's a work in progress. It takes time, but I realized that was something that was necessary.
That is so powerful. So real men get therapy.
Yes.
Okay. And it's based on what you just said, it sounds like not just real men, but real men who have matured. Okay. So what were some of the impacts to your relationships in the past? Now that you've got to this point where you want to get married, before, what were your relationships like?
Oh, okay. We want to get it. We want to get into some stuff. Okay, so as you've heard from me say before, because of my childhood, my biological father has been married numerous times, divorced to numerous times, and actually is still in a marriage of 30 plus years that they haven't talked in over 20 years. He was not the best example, to say the least. Now my mom and pops, I was foster, as you know, when I was 12. My mom and pops are my parents. They've been married going on 50 years, and they've had their ups and downs, as any marriage does. But like I said, they're still in it. And so I've had good and bad. But growing up, for the most part, I never wanted to be married. I literally used to say that I used to want to be the Black Hugh Hefner. Uh, I wanted no parts of it. It just wasn't for me. Obviously, I got to the point I did get married, obviously. Uh, but I still had a single man's mentality,
Mm.
being married. And what I mean by that, in many aspects, but what I will say is the idea that there are two people in a marriage and two people's needs, wants, um, etc. That was a hard thing for me to wrap my head around and throughout my marriage. Because again, I couldn't get out of that mentality of ironically being married, but not wanting to be married, but wanting to be married. And just realizing, like I said, there are two people. It's not just about me, it's about us. It's not about her, it's not about him, it's about them. And so that unfortunately probably didn't really sink in until after my divorce. Again, until, like I said, when I had to do some soul searching and reflecting on myself. And that's when I started realizing and seeing certain things in counseling. And you again, I gotta give kudos what they do. And like I said, it took a long time to get to where I am now. And it's still a work in progress. I'm not where I was, but I'm not where I want to be. Like I said, it's an ongoing journey, continuous work. But the first thing, like I say, is accepting is the first step to recovery, and acknowledging. And like I said, to stop believing your own BS and stop blaming everybody, because I did a lot of that. It was everybody else's fault for different things. Even my parents. Just like I've always said that my past is what made me the person I am, which made me driven, which got me and made me successful in my military career, my current career, etc. But then I wanted to blame other people for, oh, I'm this way because my parents were that way. Oh, I'm this way because of that. Well, no, again, you got to completely embody that. I can't just take the good of it and for one aspect, but then the negative, oh, that's no. It's like, no, I had to embody everything and realize it was all a factor.
That's so powerful and so true. So one, I would love to give a shout out to your therapist. We can't say his name on here, but whoever he is, but I wanna give him a shout out for working with you, and he's apparently does a good job. So I'm not actually his therapist. We're just friends, and so sometimes we bend each other's ear, and I get to, give some insight and things like that, so that's always helpful.
I'm not actually a chef. Sometimes I just cook for her. No, I'm actually a chef.
He is actually a chef, as a matter of fact, yeah, actually.
But I get those calls for my rum cupcakes every so often.
Watermelon, gotta put the watermelon rum part, because I don't drink, so when he said watermelon rum, I was like, okay. But, oh boy, when I tried one, oh, you know what? Oh, what? So one day,
Mhm.
if the people ask for it, would you show us how to make something in the kitchen?
Oh, of course.
Okay,
Of
let's
course.
do that one day if you all ask for it. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there. In the
I mean,
meantime,
it's for a low price of $9.99 per person. No.
okay, that worked. I like that too. Okay, cool. So I love that. I love that. I love that you recognize that a lot of things were in your control to do, as opposed to blaming people when that means you give away your control.
Not to cut you, but you also have to realize what's not in your control
That is true.
and controlling what you can.
That is true.
And I'm still struggling with that. To be completely, there are some aspects. It's like you can understand what you can't control, but yet still trying to control things that you can't. That's still something that I'm working on.
That is a good balance to make sure that you know those things that you can and cannot control. There's a poem that relates to that. I think it's Invictus. And I love that. So if you all look up Invictus and tell me what you think about that point, and that kind of relates a little bit to you're the master of your fate and et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But then you want to make sure that you keep that balance. There are some things you cannot control, but being able to be mature enough and responsible enough to recognize the things that really are in your wheelhouse to control. I think that's super important. So that's wonderful. So one of the things that you mentioned is that you were married and didn't want to be married, but you wanted to be married. Can you give us a little bit more on that from your perspective as this great man that sits here today?
So I think as people, we inherently want somebody. We're not meant to be alone. Um, some people, though we are meant to be alone, some people aren't capable of being faithful.
Mm.
Um, that was a problem of mine early on throughout many situations. Um, now I will say, and like I'm past that point. Like I said, my last relationship, I can thankfully say it had nothing to do with infidelity and then just personality differences or what have you.
Can I jump in here?
Mhm.
Because you said some people are incapable of being faithful.
Mhm.
So is it incapable in that time of their life?
Yes, that's a fair.
'Cause I don't want you to think that the person can't be that no one is gonna be faithful.
Some people never come out of that phase though.
That is true.
I was like my biological father. Um,
He never came out of that phase.
and I haven't talked to the man in probably 10 plus years now, and that's part of the reason. I ran into him, hadn't heard from him for like 7 years, didn't know whether he was dead or alive. And my sister's mother reached out to me because he had surfaced. He was ill and battling cancer or whatever. And so she reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to see him. And I was like, I didn't even know where he was or what was going on. So I had to think about it and I decided to. And so when I went and saw him, he's showing me pictures and things of all his exploitations over the last 7 years. And I'm like, after all this time, this is what you want to talk to me about? Like, I don't care about none of that. And like I said, the man is, well, granted, this was, like I said, probably 10 years ago or so now. And so at that point, I was 37, which means he was 56, still same way, still acting the same way. And so I don't think anything's changed. I'm like I said, I haven't talked to the man since then, but um, it is a choice. And for me, like I said, being the way that I used to be, when I determined and decided that I wanted more, I wanted something better, Because once you get to a certain point in age or whatever, it's cool when you're in that season to have quantity, if you will, I guess. But you get to a point that where quantity, everything that I've done in my life, um, I would trade in that aspect. I would trade it off for that one woman, the right woman. I would erase all of that. The right woman, male or female, is irreplaceable. You can't feel 1,000 women can't fill the place of the right woman.
Okay.
And
When you say male or female, are you referring? What does that mean?
in other words, meaning you as a female for a male, and me as a male for a female.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Like, is this something I didn't?
no, oh, come on, Doc. You know better than that.
I didn't think that was. I didn't get that. Okay.
Not at all. Meaning me as a male, but speaking on behalf of male or females,
Okay.
heterosexual relationships.
Okay. Thank you.
Not knocking anybody.
That's
Just speaking my truth.
okay. That makes sense. So, what I wanted to kind of get to a little bit is you talked about your being in a certain season, and was there anything that any of the women that you were involved with could have done to become the one where you became faithful and all the things?
No, it was me. One thing that I said, and I mean, you've seen a lot of my content, and even like I do my food for thought stuff, and where I speak very candidly on myself and my actions of the past and things. And one thing that I say is that in taking accountability, it was me. It didn't matter what the woman did or didn't do. It didn't matter how she was, whether she was great at this, bad at this, whatever. It was me. If I wasn't where I needed to be, it didn't matter what she did or didn't do. It wasn't until I got to that point where I was tired of whatever, where I wanted certain things and no longer wanted certain things. And that's when things, because the one thing I will say, in all of my actual relationships that I was in, I could always recognize a good woman, a quality woman, a woman that, a wifey type of woman. I always could recognize that. And as males, we get a hold of certain women and we see what they are, and we don't want to lose that because we know somebody that's ready for her. If he gets a hold of her, we ain't gonna get her back. So I've done that too, held on to her and knowing that I wasn't right. And because I didn't want to lose her and thinking I was gonna get right sooner or later, and many times never got right. So again, it wasn't about what they were or weren't. And it's what I was or wasn't at that time and what season I was in. Until I got into that season, like I said, I was married, but I wasn't a husband. Whereas now I want to be a husband.
Mm, okay, I like it. I like it. Very good. The honesty, the power. I'm checking the time. The honesty and the power in your communication and your talk, I think, is very valuable. I think a lot of times women, we tend to think it's something that we did. I don't have that problem because I know if you mess up with me, that's your loss. I am fully aware of that. And so, but a lot of us think that what did I do wrong? What was wrong with me? If I had done this differently, could I have done this? And we're so busy trying to do something to earn the love. What would you say to someone who's trying to earn your love?
You can't. Nobody ever earned my love. They received it, but and I don't think that I don't feel that I've ever earned anyone's love either. And quite honestly, every woman that I've ever loved, I never wanted to or intended to. Like I didn't want no parts of that. So they didn't earn it, but them being them is how they received it and made me fall. Like I've told every woman, it's like you made me love you. Because if you understand the type of person that I was, it's not easy to get to me. And so it was you being you that got to me that made me love you, but it wasn't about earning it. It's like there's nothing that you can do to make some to you can't make a person change. A person definitely you can't make a man change. A person changes because they want to, not because of what you do or don't do, but because of you. So it's and now I will say though, there are things that we need to do. There are things that we can do, but we typically look at it the wrong way. I'm not doing what I do to make you love me or to fix something or because of to keep you. I'm looking at myself and just knowing things that I need to fix and work on, especially within every relationship is different. So within your relationship, we all bring different personalities, different things. So, and like I said, relationships is a mirror. It makes us see our flaws and things that we need to work on. Problem is, a lot of times people don't understand that a person that loves you and that wants to be with you is not attacking you by addressing those things. They are bringing up things to try to fix those things that are issues within your relationship. But oftentimes we take it as an attack on us instead of really seeing what this person is and what they're trying to do. So it's unfortunately that was a flaw in my last relationship. But like I said, you don't attack somebody you love. You try to make them grow. And it's not even about changing them. And a lot of times, like you're trying to change me. You want to change me. No, I want us to grow. I want to grow. I want you to grow. I want to grow together. We look at things the wrong way, which causes a lot of our issues instead of understanding what really is. Now you got bad seeds and good seeds. But when you understand the person that you're with and their true intentions, and that's why I love Jay Shetty. You know what that is, right?
Yes,
Like
I like Jay Shetty.
you have to look at their intention, not the action, but the intent. And if you understand the intent behind what people do, it makes a big difference. If you know their intent is malicious, you got your answer. But if you know that their intent is rooted in love, then again, whether it's wrong or right, because we gonna make mistakes. But when you understand it's rooted in the right reasons and the intentions were pure, it makes a difference in how you perceive and see things.
I love that. We're gonna just let that sit out there for a minute because that's so powerful. And what I want to do, so the time is up for this show right here. And so we have to wrap it up. But listen, you said something that was so powerful, and I can just feel people wanting to ask about it. So if we can have you come back and do a part two, because what I would love for you to do is help identify. You said there's nothing they can do to earn someone's love, but you also got to the point where you made me love you. What were some of the things that they did in that made you love you phase? Not right now, because we're going to have to make that a part two, right? And before you go, what is your content? How can they find your content?
You can find me on IG, MSG underscore chef underscore 78. You can find me on TikTok, which is ck.tony. And you can email me at culinaryconceptsbycheftony@gmail.com if need be.
How do you spell culinary concept?
Oh, good question, because I don't spell it the same. Culinary is Culinary. Concepts is Koncepts. Had a thing for them, I almost forgot.
Okay. So they can reach out to you and catch you at culinary concepts with a K
Yes.
at gmail.com. So that's now.
That's for bookings.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, I wasn't sure.
Because I'm still a chef first.
That's right. That's
Even
right.
though I'm debonair gentleman, I still kill it in the kitchen.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. So Chef Tony Anthony, thank you so much for coming on today. And I look forward to our part two. As a matter of fact, we'll just take a break and then we'll record it, but we'll release it next week. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.